it takes a pretty brilliant mind to pull something like that off.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And think about if they would have used that energy
Yes.
towards something better, right? And it's like,
Well,
it's always going to catch up with you. It's just how long.
And
I agree.
They had the ability to raise money. All they had to do
I know,
was just
and that's
invest
the
in
hard
real
part.
estate.
That's the hardest
If you would have
part.
invested in real estate, it would have been fine.
Hey, welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. We are really excited for you to be joining us today. We are talking about Goldman Sachs and how they are starting to see the housing slump come upon us next year, and it's going to be the biggest slump since the early 1990s is what they're projecting.
Goldman Sachs. Who is Goldman Sachs, anyways?
Well, I
Like
think
a
that
big,
they're
investment company.
Yep, a company that kind of has a little bit of
They power
insight.
they power my Apple Card.
Yep.
Right?
They power my Apple Card too.
They power my Apple Card. As the headline states, Goldman Sachs sees housing starts next year slumping to their lowest level since the early 1990s. So housing starts is new builds, right? So that's something that they're projecting is going to fall, which is actually a little kind of crazy to me because they've, for the last couple of years, been on the uptick because we've been in such a housing shortage and there's been so much demand. So what that means is they're maybe forecasting that there's just not going to be enough money in the marketplace for them to be able to build new houses and people to be able to afford to buy those new houses.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with money that they're not deploying it right now, right?
Yep.
They're just saying no.
That's what
You
happens.
cannot have the money.
Well, it's that wait and watch period, right? Like all four of us went through that with, I guess it really started in 2007 all the way through 2012, 2013, where there was a ton of money, but there was that wait and watch period where literally money was frozen, and I know it was a lot of pain, but that's the one thing I will actually personally give the Obama administration a little bit of props. They did find a way to get money moving, and when they did do that, it actually slowly but surely started to eke itself out of the depths of hell that we were in for quite some time.
So I think that with these builders, it's either all gas or slam on the brakes.
Dude,
and
so true.
History is repeating itself because part of the reason we went through this crazy phenomena where there was just no inventory and all these buyers was because builders hadn't been building. And over the past 13 consecutive years from 2020 previous, they built below the average of the past 30 years. I think this exacerbates the problem, and this causes, if housing starts do slump, this causes a housing shortage that's going to manifest itself in 3 to 5 years, and when interest rates go back down,
Another cycle.
we're going to see another
It's
frenzy.
gonna pop like
cycle.
hard. It's gonna
Yep.
pop hard.
Yep.
So
Buy a lot of real estate right now, right?
Well, and the thing is, it's pretty crazy to watch these things kind of like unfold. And I mean, here in the Phoenix Metro where we're at, we see it all over the place where you had these massive developments, right? Where they pull them to curb. They have the electrical boxes. You can see everything done. And then they just went frozen. Literally nothing. Where some of these, there was some of them that even had slabs. They went to sticks frame, right, and they literally just would sit there and it eventually rotted in the sun to where they almost have to tear it down. They lose all of that construction that happened and have to start over until either somebody buys out that development, sells off that development. I'm kind of doing the same there.
I think this kind of, the Goldman Sachs article wasn't referring to housing developments that started and stopped. It's referring to starts. So they're not even going to get permits to start. So I don't think we're going to see these developments that are like built and then just.
Well, question on that though, I guess just kind of, podcasting here. Do we think that that's going to happen, right?
That housing starts are going to slump?
No. For sure, I think that that's going to happen. Do we think that there's going to be some massively vacated developments?
No.
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. You think that there's still going to be some development?
There's not enough.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that.
That's what I meant. Is there going to still be the demand for what's going on?
Well, in the Phoenix area, I mean, there's water problems, so they're not even allowing permits, right? Any new permits
in certain areas, yeah. But we did finally just cut off the Saudis and their alfalfa fields. So finally,
shipping water.
Fondamonte has gotten the kibosh from the governor of Arizona. I remember talking about that with Keith the other day, and you were like, what? That's happening? I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty versatile on that stuff.
Yeah, on the way to Buckeye, or actually, like, if you're going to LA and you're on the 10 and you're passing Buckeye on the south side, you'll just see these massive alfalfa fields. And that's Fondamonte. And they've been like stealing our water essentially.
Yeah, for the listeners that don't know, it's Saudi Arabia that, they have a big, they like beef, right? In Saudi
Right.
Arabia, they like to eat beef, but beef or cows
have
like
no
to
water.
eat alfalfa, and they don't have water. So they bought a bunch of land out here in Arizona, and started, growing alfalfa.
Yeah,
and alfalfa is it's like water, like alfalfa
It's the
needs
most
a lot of water.
intensive crop like ever.
Yeah, so
Let's do that in Phoenix.
let's do it in Phoenix, and then they're shipping all the alfalfa over to Saudi Arabia to feed their cows so they can have beef. Well, they stopped it finally.
A couple companies got some good deals on that, but no one else.
Yeah, the foresight on that.
Hey, if you are one of the 76% of our listeners that are not subscribed to our channel, please take a moment and subscribe. We appreciate you. And also make sure you like, comment, and ring that notification bell to get notified of new episodes.
Well, and there's a lot of people, right, that, and I mean, I know this from, personal relationships, that of agents that are new home sales agents, and they're having some people back out of their contracts and even willing to walk away from their earnest money. A lot of those people put 25% down on their upgrades, and they're still walking away.
Yeah, I noticed some of the T.W. Lewis homes in Queen Creek going on the market that they just closed like this last year, and I think it's probably because they put $200,000-$400,000 into these houses in earnest money when they built it, and the market kind of went down. Now they got
You mean
get out of
David
them.
Weekley?
Is it a Wheelie?
Or Toll Brothers?
No, it's
T.W. Lewis.
Oh, Toll Brothers.
Toll
yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah, 'cause they
Okay,
got bought
I was
there.
like, wait,
Over
who are you
the
talking
white
about?
Wing, some of the White Wings went
Got
in
it.
Queen Creek. The few there's some resales in there, and I looked in the tax records, and they just closed, and they're putting them back on the market. So I don't know if they're freaking out or they got a high interest rate and they got to sell it because they have a really high payment, and I don't know.
Well, and if you think
It seemed
about
kind of fishy.
for some of these buyers, that are in these particular positions, what a crappy sandwich, shit sandwich that they had to eat in that situation of where they put money down, they qualified for the particular property, and unless some of them, right, if their job and rates and everything else, and if they were at the end of their debt to income ratio to get in the property, and now they go to funding qualify, they no longer qualify. So even though they wanted that particular property, would want to move forward, they no longer can literally qualify.
But think
for
about the
property.
people that had to put some of these $1 million houses, they had to put like $400,000 or $500,000 down during the building process.
Yes.
And then it finally gets built, and they're
draw.
sitting at 7.5% interest rates, and then they can't get approved, so they have to find a hard money lender because they don't want to lose their $400,000 or $500,000 that's sitting in the property, and then they have such a high payment that they're trying to get out of it. So I think there's a couple of them out there like that. Yeah.
We've had some experience with that where people have had to take on these very high rates to protect their
To pull their equity out of the house, yeah. And there's a reason why these builders do that, because obviously for times like this, right? They're like, hey,
It's pretty genius of them, right? For that to have the forecasting of that. Talk about a great hedge. Hey, you want these amenities in this particular property? You're going to put 25% of the money up right now.
yep.
I think that also people want to make really custom decisions
Yeah,
that subsequent buyers may or may not be down with. And so I think that that's also one of the driving factors. I don't think it's entirely as a hedge. I think it's legit because people want to go in and do all of these neat, cool things that they love, but someone else may not. So if the builder's stuck with the house, the resaleability isn't as good.
Yeah.
So
We have a new platform, right? We're doing I'm doing Market Minute every week. And what are you doing, Kayla?
I will be with you with the viral vibes.
Viral vibes, all right. And then Keith is
There seems to be some discrepancy. So for today, we'll call it Deal of the Week.
or the Dodd, right?
Oh, wow.
Not the Dode, but the Dodd.
You tell us, what do you like better, the Deal of the Day or the Deal of the Week?
Oh yeah,
Let
that's
us know.
that's the Dow. The Dow.
The Dow.
Or the
All
Dow
right,
or
hey,
the Dodd.
we'll go with the Dow. It flows with everything else.
And then wrapping it up with Elliot, he is
I am advice.
the advice. All
That's
right.
right,
So
advice, so-
your advice on ads? Is that
Well, no,
pretty
we're
much
going to be
it, or-
talking actually all things marketing, right?
All
What is
things
it? What's it
marketing.
that you could do to actually get more leads, right? More business. And so what are the frameworks around those particular things in usually a minute or two that we're going to give you bite sizes on how you can level up your business?
Well, I am here with the viral vibes, and we're going to talk about DJ Envy. And was he a participant
DJ
in a
Envy.
Ponzi scheme? So his business associate, Cesar Pina, was charged with fraud. Apparently, he is accused of bilking over $40 million out of investors. So the interesting connection here is Cesar was a frequent guest on DJ Envy's The Breakfast Club podcast. They also toured around the U.S. and did house flipping seminars and taught other people how to fix and flip properties. And meanwhile, Cesar is accused of just raking in the cash from investors across the U.S. and to the tune of over 40 million bucks. So DJ Envy he's adamant that he is a victim of this fraud too. He's adamant that he was not involved, and he said he's never stole anything from anyone.
So is Caesar? He's like a Roman, or is it Cesar? Is it Cesar or Caesar?
I don't know.
He's like,
Yeah, no, two different pronunciations.
he's collecting his
spelled the same
taxes,
way.
right?
Cesar.
Cesar, Cesar, it
So
doesn't matter.
What was he getting from people like, hey, invest $5,000 and you'll get a return? Or what?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
taking their money in and saying he was going to use it for fix and flips, and then wasn't, and just, the classic case of
Buying his Rolls Royce and cruising around.
take money from one investor and pay off the other. It's scary. It's
he just-
insane, and
Yeah, and then they ride all their nice cars. And people think they're really really successful, and they keep sending more money, and then they just keep putting the money around. And
That's exactly how it works. Ironically enough,
Wow.
about a decade ago, I watched a documentary of someone here locally in our hometown in Gilbert, in the Mormon community, that did the exact same thing, and he ended
Mortgages
up over
Unlimited, right?
$100 million. And again, people living in a big house, nice cars, he would pay people off, raise more money. So anyway,
Yeah,
same
you're talking
thing.
about
That's-
Mortgages Unlimited, right?
you know what's crazy, whether this sounds wrong or not, think about, it takes a pretty brilliant mind to pull something like that off.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And think about
It
if they
does.
would have used that energy
Yes.
towards something better, right? And it's like,
they
it's
actually-
always going to catch up with you. It's just how long.
And
I
they-
agree.
They had the ability to raise money. All they had to do
I
was
know,
just
and that's
invest
the
in
hard
real
part.
estate.
That's the hardest
If you would have
part.
invested in real estate, it would have been fine.
Actually, I don't. I'm totally going off of something I looked into once upon a time. But like a lot of Ponzi schemes and whatnot, because they're done usually by reputable people at some point in time in their career. They are smart, they're entrepreneurial, et cetera. And more times than not, what they found in like the investigations, even though they were guilty, criminal, et cetera, is that it wasn't done on purpose. It was something that they fell into. They had good intentions that went bad.
I don't think
know.
I wouldn't give
I'm just
give any
telling you
money
that
to.
I don't remember the whole thing, but like literally it
They know
broke
what
down
they're
like
doing.
Ponzi schemes.
I mean, why would you give money to someone that calls themselves DJ Envy, anyways? Like, the word envy, like, okay, you're envious of me. It's like
they weren't
it's
giving money
kinda-
to DJ. They were giving it
But he
to
was the hype man, or
Yeah,
Cesar.
yeah, to
To
Cesar.
to
Cesar.
Caesar.
Cesar.
Cesar.
He thought he was the tax man in Roman times, right? So I'm gonna play a little bit of a game here.
Oh,
Okay.
I like games.
I'm gonna give you some information about what's going on in the markets right now, and you're gonna tell me if it's true or false.
Okay.
Okay.
True or false?
Okay, so true or false? Baby boomers are becoming homeless at a rate not seen since the Great Depression.
False.
True or
False.
Okay,
False.
that is actually true.
What?
Damn.
That is true.
What?
Sadly, it's very
was
true.
I haven't heard that at all.
I haven't heard that either.
Because I
Homeless, like based on choice or based
Yeah,
on
like-
I, that's
That's
I,
just
I
like
saw,
moving into because if
That's
they're
the
moving
data point.
into like retirement homes,
That's what-
I could see.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No.
I've heard, yeah, we don't need to get in a rabbit hole. I've heard that investing into places where baby boomers are going to live is going to be the next
Yes.
hot thing
Yes.
for the next
Yes.
2 decades. So that's where my brain went. Anyway,
Well, apparently a lot of baby boomers have not
saved.
saved for retirement, and they're becoming homeless.
Damn.
Which is
That
wild
sucks.
because they are
That's sad.
by far and away the wealthiest generation
And,
on record.
one of the
But
biggest.
they're the biggest.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
obviously there's a
Duh.
percentage there. Okay. So car owners with payments are behind on payments, the highest on record in history.
False.
I'll say true on that one.
I'm going to go false.
It is true.
Wow.
Yeah.
The highest on record in history?
In history.
Okay, I didn't
Wow.
realize that.
I would make sense to me. Think about how much cars cost now.
That's actually super valid because
True.
a freaking car is like a second mortgage
You can get a
payment. or
Honda
dang
Civic, costs like
mortgage
40
payment.
grand.
Where does the car payment fall though in the line of what you're going to pay?
Yeah.
Right? Like when
Yeah.
you're looking at your bills and you don't have enough money and you're going, okay, I can pay this or I can pay that. Like where does the car payment fall in that hierarchy?
Just make sure you're not tracked and hide that thing.
They're all tracked.
They're
I'm
all
sure.
tracked, dude. You're screwed. They can like track. I heard recently that they did something in all newer license plates where they can actually track the license plate because they have like some kind of thing on the back of them. So throw your damn license plate off.
Wow. Okay.
That was what I heard.
All right, here's another one. Ready? Credit card companies are racking up losses at the fastest pace in 30 years.
I'm going to go true.
False.
Dang, this is a tough one. I'm 0 for 2, so I got to get this one right. And the other two, I mean, that would coincide with a true. Dang it. True.
It is true.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was going to say it, but
Wow.
I had to go for something
So, auto loans, highest default in history. Credit card companies losing at the highest amount in history.
That does not sound good.
Baby boomers are becoming homeless at a rate not seen since
the
the
wealthiest
Great Depression.
generation is struggling.
All right, Americans have to make $114,000 a year to buy a median-priced home.
True. I would say true, if not more.
Yeah, I would say at today's rates, that's true.
That is true. It's true. 114 grand. You got
When you think about
like
that,
six figure.
that's
Remember, six figures was
insane.
like a big. That was a
Dude, well, it
was
wasn't
like-
that long
You'd
ago.
be rolling, making six figures.
Yeah, like for me in farming, when I was doing everyday, production type stuff, I used to really watch like the average, the median household income in Scottsdale versus Gilbert because, like they were like two of the highest, and it was like I remember at the time Gilbert was super high because of its very entrepreneurial place, but like the median household income in Gilbert, this is I don't remember how long ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, was like $97,000. And it was high. It was one of the highest in the entire country.
Queen Creek has the highest median income in Arizona.
I did. Yep, I remember that.
All right, true or false? A pound of turkey is up 300%.
A pound of turkey.
Everything's up. 300% sounds high,
man.
but I'll go with true because things are pretty crazy right now.
Well, and being that it's the time of year that it is, I'm going to go with true on that one too.
I'm gonna
That's
go
a stat
true.
That would come out.
It's false.
Oh,
What
okay.
is it?
Pound of
200?
turkey is up 114%.
Pound of turkey. Gobble gobble.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, a 4-pound bag of sugar is up 97%.
Sure, true.
I'll say true.
I guess I'll stay on trend this one and say true.
That is
seems
true.
about
yeah.
right.
And lastly, when Trump left office, interest rates are at 2.7%.
True.
True, yep.
True.
That was true. Yeah. All right. All this bad stuff, and GDP is expected to be between 3 and 5%.
Wow.
Right. Crazy. I mean, 3 to 5%. I mean, that's pretty high.
I don't know.
For all that stuff to be going down right now. I mean, GDP.
You mean all that stuff to be going up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But GDP, it's coming out on Thursday, so we'll see what the real numbers is. But people were saying 3 to 5%.
Well, and there's just a lot of things, right? Like, I mean, obviously, a lot of the interest rate rising is usually, or they'll do some of these, interest rate hikes to try to help slow inflation. And at the end of the day, I mean, yes, I think it's helped in certain capacities, but it hasn't proved to help as much as it has in the past. So there's a lot of things that are very interesting right now to be able to. All right, well, listen up. I got some advice for you here on this. First of all, we're going to start off with one of my favorite Steve Jobs-isms. When the value exceeds the price, they will buy. So what this leads to is really the value equation. What I want to do is introduce you to a formula of how you're going to pull people through. So first of all, you want to give them what is their dream outcome in the value equation. Then from there, it is really what's the likelihood of the achievement of that outcome that you're painting for them, then followed by what's the time and the dedication that they're going to have to put in to pull through on these things. So what I'm talking about here is creating valuable content to be able to get people to be interested in your email, your ad, your publication, whatever it is that you're bringing to them. So part of that value equation is what you want to spell out. So now I know a lot of these frameworks sometimes as you pull through them don't necessarily make sense. So let me give you something tangible here. And I wrote something for us to be able to just kind of see in the real estate space of what this looks like. So in a publication or in an ad, it would look like this. Hey, what if you could sell your house and make an extra $100K more than you thought you could? Well, let me introduce you to my Cash Plus home selling program, where we will buy your house at market value, we will bring you a cash offer at market value, then go in and remodel your house, sell it for top dollar, and give you the profit. Pretty cool, right? So to see if your home qualifies and see how much more money you could make, click the link below to get started. Right, so that's just an idea of what that looks like, where you're painting you're really providing a solution to a problem that they may have, and ultimately basing it on a dream outcome of them making an additional $100,000.
Brought to you by Zoodealio.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Hey, all right. Well, that's good implementation. Let's see who implements it and how that's going to affect your business. Got to be consistent, though.
Got to be.
Yeah, and I think you also have to be consistent, but then like a broken record too. I think just got to keep saying stuff, because not everybody watches it, watches your content, or will connect with it at every single minute. But
yep.
But once they're in the market, once they need something, they hear that same message, they're gonna bite. So
it's the reticular activation center inside your
totally.
brain, right? And when something becomes relevant to you, then you see that thing. And so keep your message in front of people so that when the time is right, they'll think of you.
All right. Well, today we're gonna go with the Dow, the deal of the week. We'll see if that changes in the future, spice things up. This one I kind of struggle with sometimes because of the amount of deals that are going on. It's hard to really isolate one and say, which one stands out the most. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to bash something along the lines of where people automatically jump to conclusions, and then I'm going to give two examples of that. So specifically about some of the couple deals of the week, people automatically, when they hear about our Cash Plus program, sometimes automatically think, oh, well, something like that's only going to work for a distressed property. Like, that wouldn't work for the quote unquote normal consumer. Well, that's what I, want to talk about here, because that's not necessarily the case. So a couple of those examples that stand out to me that are very recent is we are actually purchasing a property on the Cash Plus that was a flip. Now it looks like they've owned the property for about almost a year, and that means it's probably going to be due. And clearly this program works, right? It gets them that initial payout, gets them out of their circumstance, and then they are still tied to the resale proceeds when that property is successfully resold. So I think that's a great example, because you just never know when you're talking with a home seller what their situation is and truly what their needs are. I mean, who would have thought, right? Why a flipper would want to take a program where they're only getting an initial payout? Well, due to circumstances.
Yeah, if their cost of capital is 12%, 14%.
And they might be charged another 1.5 or something like that
Yeah.
at a year, or 3 points, or they're going to foreclose on them. Or
their balloon payment's due. Like, hey, I need my $250,000. I'm like, I ain't got that.
Yep.
So that's, I like to throw these out, because when you hear stories and you hear examples, hopefully some light bulbs go off, or it resonates with you. I'm like, oh, wow, I've come across that circumstance. Or if you come across that circumstance in the future, you can use a direct correlation and an example. Another one that we're closing on is a $1.4 million property in the Texas market, the Dallas-Fort Worth. And again, right, that's more of a luxury product. This works beautiful for them, where they have a ton of equity in their home. They don't want to go through the stress of listing on the open market and what all that comes with. They get their initial payout, and now they can just go move with ease. So we literally see all walks of life with this particular program. So, don't put your own walls up. stay open-minded because it works for everybody.
Yeah, this is a luxury product, really. I mean, there's a lot of luxury. There's a lot of people that are able to pay a little bit more to have the luxury of just saying, "Hey, I'm going to move out and go to my next property," and they can fix it up a little bit and make it look really, really good. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to, have people in my house when I'm trying to, make dinner in the evening, or my kids are going to soccer at night. It's a pain in the butt to do all that.
Well, and speed sometimes can be equally as important depending on the circumstance, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though that's a luxury, right, I think that's where sometimes speed can actually be a need.
Yeah, it's been surprising to me to see how many luxury homes we're buying, and people are just going, "Yeah, this is a great product. I love it." Yep. So and it's, I think some of the cool things of the agents too that don't understand once they get it and they're like, "Oh crap, I didn't know this. Like, this is great. I can go to all these luxury home sellers and say,
Don't even
hey,
get me started.
Yeah.
I think half the time it's the agent and their paradigm.
yeah,
that
why would
dictates-
they have
that's why I
pay
wanted
us
to bring it up.
6% on top of it? So that's too much money. Like,
So you know what I love about all of this stuff is I hear that's kind of like a story I'm running in the back of my mind is I think we're in like very unique turbulent times, as I like to put it, right? We have the NAR lawsuits that are going on in the industry. We have crazy inflation, crazy potential downturn in the market, potential recessions upon us, etc. But the reality of it is this, right? As a true awesome professional real estate agent, you've always been needed and you're always going to be needed. And the reality of it is when you can be that megaphone to the marketplace of change, of difference, of how you're going to help people solve their problems, you're needed more than ever. It no longer becomes a luxury. You become a true advisor. And to me, that's what this field is, what it's always been about and what it should be about. So that's why as I listen to all of us here, like these are amazing things to take to the marketplace and communicate so that you can be on the receiving end of solving your clients' problems and as a byproduct earn some extra commission checks.
All right. So if you have anything to add to the conversation, be sure to comment below. And we're going to do a comment reaction live. So this comment came from @MrSky10101. Someone is talking about this. The public is blind to how much of their money is invested in China. Mutual funds, pension plans, financial vehicles, so much is invested in China. Watch the China Hustle if you haven't.
the China Hustle, huh?
So,
What is
okay, Mr. Sky10101. Thank you for your comment. So we talked a little bit about China last week. I have not seen the China Hustle. Have you?
No,
I haven't seen it.
No.
We'll
I'm
watch it.
definitely have to check that out.
No, but hey, if there is a China hustle going on, then guess what? It's not only as we the people's fault because one, we stood back and allowed it to happen, but our shitty leadership that possibly put us in these things from the past. That's just the truth.
Well, I mean, case in point, that's part of what's going on, right, with the rates is China's not buying bond markets or buying bonds at the rate that they were previously, which is now affecting particular rates. So those are all things like how do we look at that?
Who
going forward?
buys bonds? What countries?
I don't know the list of countries. I mean, I know obviously China was one of the largest purchasers of.
China's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's several, right?
Oh yeah. A lot.
Are you gonna share the list?
No. I was just curious if you knew.
I don't know.
France does it?
No.
Does France buy it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Maybe a few. They buy a couple. Like, guys, Bitcoin went way the heck up yesterday.
Yeah,
Did you guys see that?
When Bitcoin does that, everything else follows. Everything else is going nuts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were excited.
Like it's the biggest
It's
jump
Bitcoin.
we've seen since like 2 years.
And why? Because I think Blackstone is trying to
Well, the ETFs.
They might get
that just came
the
out.
SEC might be able to or might be allowing this ETF that Blackstone and other organizations are trying to bring in Bitcoin ETFs onto the market.
Jason, you said something last night. You said that Blackstone is the government.
It is. I mean,
Well,
Blackstone
yeah,
owns like 80% of all of the government's assets, and like it's
Well, and I know we're
And
going a
who
little bit
owns
long here, but Blackstone was funded from some of the bailouts and all the crap out before that. Isn't that how that isn't? Yeah, that's how they got their start, right?
Blackstone-
Yeah,
some of
and,
their,
and
those,
you gave a shout out to Obama for it.
well.
Blackstone is the
Hey,
president of the United
what
States.
I gave Obama a shout out is that they got money moving. That's what I didn't say it was good, bad, right, or wrong. I didn't say we didn't sell our soul to the devil. What I said is they got money moving.
We'll have to go
That's what
back
I
and
said.
listen to that. 'Cause that's not how it came
Good
across.
things,
But anyway.
good things.
That is what I said.
This is a strange episode, guys. Thanks for listening. Hey, again, if you're still listening, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified of our new episodes.
Go D-backs.